This week I've been building. Whoa, what's that? How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dan here again today, back once again with another hobby update for you for the month of December. So it's the second update you've got now, and I've not really got much further to tell you the truth with Harry Potter miniatures. I'll show you where I'm up to with them now. We've got a black undercoat with a administratum grey highlight there. That's it, zenithal highlight. So they look lovely, the miniatures fully assembled and everything. And I'll show you the rest of them. I'll tell you what, I'll show you two at a time. So we've got them two. Very nice. Very nice. And finally, this one. These are the Death Eaters, by the way, if you didn't know. Very nice looking miniatures. I have also done some liquid green stuff work on young Ronald Weasley. So there's Ron Weasley from the front, and there's him from the back. He's got liquid green stuff all over him. Basically, there was underneath here, there was a big crack, or like a blemish, like where there was bubble holes or something at the bottom of his cape. So I wanted to address that. And with liquid green stuff, you have to wait for it to dry before you apply the next layer. You have to apply it in layers. I think some people, when they get liquid green stuff for the first time, they don't necessarily realise how you're supposed to use it, but you have to apply a bit, wait for it to dry, then apply another bit over the top in layers. So you're slowly building up layers. So this has taken me a few days to do. It was a big blemish underneath, like I said, and I had to apply a layer, wait for it to dry, apply another layer, and so on and so forth. And some nights I was that sort of unmotivated this week, which you can probably tell by the unpainted Death Eaters. I was that unmotivated this week to paint that I couldn't even bring myself to apply liquid green stuff some nights. I don't know why, I don't know what's wrong with me. But it happens every now and again to a lot of hobbyists out there, the lack of desire to do any painting, hobby burnout. I've not been doing much hobby, so I can't really say it's hobby burnout, but I've just not got the desire within me to crack on and paint these for some reason. I'm not sure why. I don't know what it is, but also under his hood as well, there was a big blemish there. And I've done little bits of liquid green stuff work on him, and I've prepared the Death Eater miniatures. This week, I've got 3 days left in work, and then I'm off until after Christmas. Now, I need to get these miniatures, and Ron and Hermione and Harry all painted for Christmas Day, and some spiders as well. And technically Dumbledore, Filch, and two little house elves. I think I'll do it. In terms of the normal minis you get in the box, but Dumbledore, Filch, and the house elves, like I said at the start of the month, they can wait really. They're sort of extra miniatures, and I might even leave them unpainted because you don't need to use them for the core game. You've got the Death Eaters that come in the core game normally, the 3 kids and the spiders. So I'll get them painted and we can crack on with the core game over Christmas period with just those miniatures. But as you've seen from the intro, that's not the only hobby I've been doing this week. You'll have seen this. This is a Munitorum armoured container. Ooh, yes, just an ordinary Munitorum armoured container. But wait, it's got something inside. What's going on? Wait. Inside is a load of sprue. Now you'll think, what have you done that for, Big Mac? Big Mac, what are you doing, you madman? This is going to be a skip rather than a Munitorum armoured container. I've already got 3 armoured containers, so I'm not sure I need more just now. So what I'm going to do is paint this up as like scrap metal and have it as a scrap metal skip, just to make a bit of a difference on the battlefield, a bit of an interest point, a point of interest. Now all I did to do this was I cut the top section before assembling it all. I took the top section and I cut the 2 ends off so you could have a nice sort of sturdy looking end to the container still. So I stuck the 2 ends to the container onto the container, and then this is separate, but I think I'll keep this, and then I'll paint it up the same way as I paint the container, and then I can use it as a container if I want, just a standard container, or I can use it as a scrap metal skip. I'll probably paint this black like it suggests in the Conquest magazine, and I'll do some metallic battle damage. We've got these skips in work, big metal skips, big, cardboard skips, just massive skips, industrial skips that contain different things, and they get so battered from the drivers that collect them, crashing into them, from stacker trucks crashing into them now and again, driving up to them to drop stuff into them, and they get so battered and chipped that there's a lot of metal showing through on them. So I'm going to do with this as a really really heavily damaged skip, and then the top's going to be like rusted scrap metal kind of thing, all the stuff inside. So what I'll probably do first is spray that with an undercoat of lead belcher, and then go over the outside with black. Probably place that on top and then go over the outside with black. And then that'll be a nice skip. I've not put the eagles on yet. I can't decide whether I'm going to yet. I think I will, but I'm just slightly undecided. The other stuff from the armoured container set, I've not even clipped off the sprue yet. So the barrels and the ammunition crates, I've not clipped off the sprue yet, but they'll get done soon enough. What else have I been working on? These two guys here. So basically, from Conquest, I've got all of the miniatures assembled now. Technically, I've not, because the Reavers, the Space Marine Reavers, I've not got assembled. And the Primaris Librarian, I've not assembled him and stuck him to the base yet, but here's he, and I've not stuck his shoulder pads on yet. I still can't decide whether I want to include him in my Imperial Fists or use him in my Death Watch. I'll probably use him in my Death Watch, but as an Imperial Fist. So he can sort of come back to his parent chapter and work alongside them without too much. I don't think I'd have any opponents complaining about that, really. But I guess if I painted him in a blue colour scheme and just have his chapter symbol on the opposite side, it's it's not going to be too much of an issue. And these two, this was terrible to paint. This is the Mephitic Blight Hauler, is it? Yeah, this is a Mephitic Blight Hauler. Terrible to build, sorry, not paint. It was absolutely atrocious. It's an easy to build kit, but it's so hard to get together because of the way it's constructed on the sprue. So these two covers to the tracks here, they're attached to this central bit of carapace, and you've got to get a little rod lined up with a hole on the track here, same on that side, and then two rods lining up with holes on the body of the actual thing, and it's so hard to get that into position. The back bit didn't go together very well, so I ended up leaving a weight on that, and to try and bring it together a bit as the glue dried, and it was just wasn't a pleasant kit to build that at all. It wasn't easy anyway, but I've got it to an okay standard, but it could have been a lot easier, I thought, if these bits were separate. That bit I could have dealt with the bit on the back a bit better by just clipping the rod down on the inside, but stupidly I put the glue on first and then tried to put it on, and it became a bit of an issue because of my rush to get it done, really, that bit. But yeah, like I said, the front carapace was difficult to get on into the right position. Let me know if you're doing the Conquest minis, if you had trouble with that miniature as well. And then we've got this boy. This is the Biologist Putrefier. Love the miniature. The details on this miniature are fantastic. The sort of Nurgle aesthetic of it and everything. Like I said in my previous video, my review of issue 15 of Conquest, check it out up here. So he's got these grenade racks which sort of look a lot like flies' wings, and then he's got this what can only be described as a proboscis coming out of his mask, and then he's got these big bulbous eyes, which so he's basically designed in the image of a fly, really, isn't it? It takes a lot of design cues from a fly, and the flies, rot flies and bloat flies and stuff like that, they're all sort of associated with Nurgle. Big swarms of flies fly along with the Death Guard Legion as they move along, and with Nurgle's legions of demons as well, I guess. But yeah, this it really draws on the fly aesthetic, this miniature. I think it's fantastic looking. But that one was a nice, easy miniature to build. Didn't have any problems with that at all. It's you kind of expect it with infantry-sized miniatures. They shouldn't be too hard to build. But yeah, that's where I'm up to with that. What else have I got to do now then? So I've got to get the Harry Potter miniatures painted. I've got to stay on top of these, the Conquest minis, and make sure I continue building them. And then I've got to get my Gorkanaut / Morkanaut / Stomper done. They were the three things I said. When I say done, I mean built. So once the Harry Potter miniatures are out of the way and once we're past Christmas, then I can concentrate on maybe even painting the Conquest minis, painting them, and starting to finish my Gorkanaut Morkanaut Stomper miniature that I was working on a scratch build, not a scratch build really, a conversion from a drop pod into a Gorkanaut Morkanaut Stomper. And that's it, but hopefully I really need to knuckle down with these Harry Potter miniatures. I just thought I'd let you know where I was up to. What I'm going to do today, I'm just going to jump in the bath now, you know, just so you know you can think of me in the bath now. Lovely, washing my hair and my... I'm going to tidy up my hobby areas. My hobby areas currently are a bit of a mess. You may hear in certain videos where I chuck something down to one side that it hits something else like this. You know, something like that. I've got Conquest miniatures on my desk there in front of my computer. In the other room, my living room, I've got miniatures all sort of on the footstool and stuff like that, and just everywhere I work to do my hobby, either in here or in there, is a big mess, and I need to tidy it up. I've got footwear down here that I was going to sell on eBay to fund the purchase of stuff, and there's just like mess everywhere really, so I need to get a good tidy up done, and then I'm hoping that'll help me with my desire to get painting. I've gathered all the paints I need now for the Death Eaters. I was having a little trouble finding certain ones. I couldn't find my Inky by Darkness, for example. I want to use that on the leather to make it look like a really dark blue-green sort of leather, and then just do like a really fine highlight perhaps on the boots and stuff like that. I'm going to be using blues, greens, browns on them just to make the black look all like different materials, because the Death Eaters, they wear a lot of black. But I want to make it look like some parts of it look like worn leather, some parts of it look like maybe a really dark velvet. You know, sort of these extravagant robes, but understated, you know, so they could be used by like these sinister forces coming out of the shadows kind of thing. Yeah, so that's all I've got for you now. Going to do a bit of tidying today. Going to do a bit of shopping, weekly shopping, but there's not much more to do now before Christmas. Well, there's not much more time left to do this before Christmas. I don't know what date it is today, the 16th, I think. So I've got 9 days. Well, 8 really, because I need to play with it on Christmas Day. So 9 days really, 8 days really, let's say. And that's it. That's where I'm up to. Hopefully, progress will pick up a little bit. I'll leave it there for now, guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.